Hey everybody. So today I told my guides I want to do a video. Like, what do you want me to talk about? What message does everyone need to hear? And what came forward kind of surprised me, because I just thought I'd be talking about, something that I normally talk about, day-to-day stuff. And they said to bring forward my past life regression. And I thought, you know what? I've been wanting to make a video about my past life regression experience, because I tell people all the time to do them. Like, you could go online and do self-guided past life regressions. And they're really great. That's how I did mine. I did not go seek somebody else and pay them to regress me. Actually did it myself. You can do it yourself for free on YouTube. Just search past life regression meditation or something like that. You'll find it easily. But first, let's talk about past life regression, because a lot of people don't really know what it is, and I'm just gonna tell you in brief. It is when it's like a form of hypnosis. So either somebody can put you under hypnosis, or you can do it yourself. And all hypnosis really is a deep meditation. You have to get to this very deep place to connect with your source in order to pull information. And so when I did mine, I was just trying it out. For some reason, I became really fascinated early in my spiritual journey about past life regressions. And I originally wasn't because I wanted to do one myself. It was just like, in college I was a history major, so I love history, and I had saw this documentary about a woman who did past life regressions on people and then went back and tried to track them back in history. So they would be like recent lifetimes that these people have lived, pull information from the regression when they're in that meditative state, and then take that information and do some research. Like, did this person really exist? Like, it's almost like a cool way of like proving this is real. What we're doing is real. And it's very, very healing, very healing. And I definitely experienced that when I did my own. So, basically you just get put into a meditative state, and the person either on YouTube or the person that you're with that is regressing you will verbally guide you, kind of like when you do just a regular old guided meditation. They'll guide you down into that deep meditative state, help you with maybe some breathing techniques, and you'll get into this space where you can connect with your source. And then from there, they'll verbally guide you back to a previous lifetime. Now, I can't remember exactly, because mine was like quite some time ago, but I think that the one I chose on YouTube was one like for a recent lifetime. Some of them are like, okay, we'll guide you back to a lifetime that will bring up a message that will help you most in your journey right now. There's different ways you can regress back into lifetimes and pull information, but usually you can either specifically ask during the regression, or your guides will just take you to the one that's going to serve your highest good. So for me, I did like one of my recent lifetimes, and I was like, okay, so I used to be super religious, then I turned atheist and I was a history major. I'm the type of person that questions everything, show me the evidence. So when I came into the spiritual journey, I was very, very skeptical, but open because it was resonating with me. The information I was receiving was really resonating with me. So anyways, I wanted to do one of my recent lifetimes because I wanted to see if I could find myself like this lady was doing on the documentaries. Like, I wanted to like have fun with it. Like, it was fun for me. Plus, I wanted to see, I was very skeptical. I'm always like a little hesitant. I'm more open now. But at the time, especially because it was the beginning of my journey, I was very skeptical of anything that got presented to me, which is good. It's good to have discernment, but then you'll get to a point where you form this relationship with your higher self that you just feel what's right. You form that, it's like practicing something so many times. Like, you start to get really good with your intuition and discerning. Like, if you were to listen to different people on YouTube, not everything they say might not resonate, but some things will. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It's that kind of deal, and you use that in your everyday life. Well, anyways, this whole thing was, I was skeptical about it, but I was open. So I wanted to dive in and see if I could see if, through my regression, I could actually like get these visions that people were getting as I did the research. Like, you get these visions and you receive maybe dates or names or whatever. You get taken through a whole scenario. So I wanted to see if it was going to work for me, for one. I wanted to try it out. And if it did work, I wanted to see if I could find myself, like in historical data, because I'm kind of nerdy undercover like that. So what I did is I did the guided meditation, and they recommend immediately afterward you write down everything, because you can easily forget things. Like after meditation or after you channel a message, I don't know if you've ever heard any channelers talk about it, but it definitely happens to me. Sometimes you'll channel a whole video and then you don't even know what you said in the video because you were channeling it, and then you go back and you're like, wow, did I say that? Like, it's weird. So you got to write things down. It's like dreams too. You'll forget them. So, yeah. So it worked for me, and I want to tell you guys about my experience. Like, this is the first time I was like floored by like spiritual gifts and abilities, because I was like, this is the real deal, okay? So what happened is I got regressed and I got taken to this scene. I was like, all of a sudden I started like, so in the beginning of your journey, you're like, am I imagining this? Is this a dream? Like, where's this come from? But I think in my scenario, it was so off the wall. I was like, okay, this might be it. So I come to this scene, and the person who was doing the guiding on YouTube was like, look down at your feet. What kind of shoes are you wearing? And I looked down at my feet, and it was like snowshoes. And then you were kind of like able to like observe yourself from the outside. What did you look like? I saw I was a man. I wasn't a woman. I was a man. I had brown hair. I was like middle-aged, and I was walking through the snow up out of the woods, like up this like kind of a slight hill up to this house. I could see maybe like 100 yards up in the distance. And I had a Native American next to me. So I was walking with a Native American. We were all bundled up. We had our snowshoes on, and we were walking up towards his house. So we walk up into the house, and in the house, in the kitchen, is my wife. I immediately knew it was my wife. I don't know. It was like this intuitive knowing. And I immediately felt like, I felt it in my heart chakra. Like I had this really deep connection with my wife in that lifetime. I embraced her. I was like feeling a little overwhelmed. Like the love that I felt was a little overwhelming. And it was like, you could just tell we had a really great dynamic. I had a good marriage and relationship in that lifetime. Like, I could just sense that. And I wrote things down because I don't want to forget. Okay, so I felt that connection, right? And then later in the regression, they a lot of times will take you to the point, they'll skip the rest and then take you to the point where you died, so you can see how you died. Because a lot of times, like back in the day, people die of like tragic deaths, and they carry that heavy energy over with them into this lifetime. And then somebody could be like dealing with some type of trauma or something, and it has to do with a past lifetime. It doesn't even have to do with this lifetime. So they're having a hard time pinpointing, why do I feel this way? Like, why do I feel this way? It doesn't make any sense. I had a great childhood, whatever. It could be from a past life. So they use past life regression to heal people a lot of times, because you're able to pinpoint where things that you haven't been able to release could be. Okay, flash forward to this scene of me dying. Thankfully, it wasn't some crazy death. It was just me. I was like in a hospital kind of bed, and then I have to revert back, but I'm going to finish the story. I was in like a hospital type bed, and my wife was sitting next to me. I was very old. I was probably in my late 80s, early 90s. I mean, like, you know how you can kind of tell when somebody gets to a point they're just like so wrinkly that they're almost soft, you know what I mean? Like, I was pretty old. So and that's when things got intense, and all of a sudden I was just like welling up with emotion. Mind you, I'm just laying on my bed with headphones in, listening to this regression. Like, that's how deep of a I don't even like to call it hypnosis, because there's this like weird stereotypes tied to that word. It was just like a deep meditation. You're so deep that you're gonna feel everything in that scene. So I even wrote it down. She was just holding my hand. She said she was gonna see me again and that she loved me. And it was just like, I'm laying on my bed, there's tears pouring down my face. I'm so sad that I have to leave her. Like, so sad. Like, the connection that I had with my significant other in that lifetime was intense. I don't know if it was like my twin flame and we just had different roles in that lifetime. I don't know if it was just like a soulmate connection. I don't know, but whatever it was like so deep. And so another thing that happened in the beginning, and that's how the regression ended. It just showed me in a hospital bed and she was talking to me, and that was it. It was just like I woke up and all I could think about was how much I freaking love her. Like, I was like, I just fucking love her so much. Like, I'm like crying. Like, it was a mess. But it was so insane. And I couldn't even think about how crazy it was that I just went through this whole experience because I was so overcome with like emotion and stuff from it. But in the beginning of the regression, when I was like, had my snowshoes on, I'm walking up to the house, the person that was regressing me was like, what was your name? They were asking like, what time, when is this? Where is this? And I had a few, like, literally so blatant, it was written out in my head. Dylan. My name was Dylan. Dillon. I could see every letter. And it was like 1952. I had an exact date. And then it said Jenna when it asked me what my wife's name was. I was like, Jenna and Dylan. Okay. And it said the Midwest when it asked me for location. So I wrote all these things down afterwards. And I hurry up, wrote them down. And then my ego immediately wants to start judging this. And like, what? Part of me was like I think I was a little bit in shock about how emotional I got and how real it felt. And then the shock was just like, and then I wanted to look at, I was like, Dylan and Jenna, like, who is named that in 1952? Nobody. Those seem like more modern names to me. So I started judging the information. And I was like, well, okay, let's try to find yourself. So I immediately get on Google. I'm Googling everything. And that's when I literally, as soon as I found the information, I'm talking about like from head to toe covered in goosebumps. Because I found myself. There's a man named, and his name was Dylan Mayer. He was the commissioner of the Bureau of Indian Affairs. I get chills just saying that now because in my regression, I was walking with a Native American. And it felt like that vibe, like that type of relationship. I was a white man. This was a Native American. Yeah. And I was like, what? Like that correlation? Like how? I couldn't make this shit up. And then, check this. The time frame matches. The time frame matches from when he lived, like during real time to the time that I saw in my regression. I said 1952. I think he died in 1982. So that would make him a middle-aged man. Same time, same age. Okay. Then I said Midwest in the regression. That's what I received. He was born in Ohio, which is technically a Midwest state. Plus, he could have lived anywhere. He was born there, so who knows? He might have migrated somewhere in that area. Location on point. I was like, what the hell? Trippiest thing, his wife name is Jenness. Jenness. And I kept saying Jenna. Maybe that was like my nickname for her, but I'm sorry, that's pretty damn close. Like, I was like freaking. And then I was like, okay, let's see how he died. Let's see if that correlates. He died of heart failure in a nursing home in 1982. So he died in a bed in a nursing home. So that also matches up. So I think what I'm trying to say is like, this universe is so amazing, and it will show you how amazing it is if you're willing to explore a little bit. And my curiosity was just it always is like in hyperdrive. I don't know what's going to happen next. Like Phil Good says, be a dot. I am so a dot, it's ridiculous. Like, don't please don't ask me to come for lunch at 2 o'clock because it's 11 o'clock and I really don't know what I want to do at 2 o'clock, and I'm not going to know until 1:59. Like, I'm a dot to the max, and it's like really served me well. But my point is get curious. Start digging, start learning about yourself. You don't have to be some crazy psychic intuitive to go do your own past life regression for free on YouTube. But I really wanted to share my experience because I thought it was like a really cool one. And I know a lot of people think they're really personal. They don't want to share who they were and all that stuff. Like, to me, I don't care. Like, I want to be as open and vulnerable and honest with you guys. So, like, you can do this stuff too, and you can learn about yourself. Because, like for me in this regression, like, I didn't uncover any trauma or anything like that. But what it really was at the time, especially because it was in the beginning of my spiritual journey and I was still figuring out how to connect to my guides and stuff, it was the universe validating me, saying, see, like, you're willing to be open and you're willing to do this regression and you have no idea what it is. Like, you're willing to do that. And we're going to show you that faith, like, the more you have faith, the more you will see. So it's not seeing is believing. It's once you believe, you will see. And I was open enough for this regression to be able to see. And they certainly did not disappoint. And I just really think that we need to be more curious. And I really, I hope that you guys will have an open mind. You know, and I hope that maybe my experience either motivates you to get curious or was just a cool story to listen to and a different way to, you know, understand past life regressions. But yeah, guys, that's my story. I hope you liked it. If you're interested in any of my services, you can check out my website. It's kelseyfranks.com. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, of course. You're probably watching me on YouTube. Most people do. That's where my main source of interaction is. But yeah, I'm really easy to find. So check me out if you resonate. And I love you guys. I'll see you next time.